Hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm very well. And how is it that you look lovelier and lovelier every time we meet?
Oh, thank you.
So please tell me what is the secret, which I could just look so fabulous and even super fabulous every time we meet.
But you do look super fabulous.
Look at you. Just look at you. Look who's talking.
Oh, thank you, my love. I've just been working out with, and also Jadu Pocha is really good workout. So
Really.
it's
And
all about that squat.
totally. And it keeps you fit also. And another thing, maybe it's all that workout and the jharu pocha you're doing. You're someone who comes across, gives out these feel good vibes, when we're talking. And we've been meeting forever, personally also. But online also, it's just that, with Shruti, you have your happy place.
Oh, is it? I'm so happy to know that. Thank you. That makes me feel happy.
Awesome. So, how's it? Even the second lockdown, we thought everything would be over. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think everything would be over, to be honest with you. And I think that was one of my biggest concerns, that if we don't take care and if we don't take the precautions that we need to, that it's not going to be that smooth sailing, and that there's going to be a lot of interruptions to what we consider, our daily life and our work routine. Because, like I've always said, this is like a collective thing. So we have to make a collective effort. And yeah, I mean, it's not surprising that we're back here, because a lot of people didn't take the precautions that they needed to.
Yeah. Seems to have just escalated and just blown up in our face. And
Mm,
we are living at a
yeah.
time when we actually are feeling helpless. We really don't know whether, which
Yeah, I
way
think
to.
that's the key word, right? With this whole time, is that it's making everyone feel extremely helpless, this has been a hellish equalizer in a sense, like nobody's able to get to bed, no one's able to get medication. And all I really want to say is, when people ask me stuff like, so how does it feel, being in lockdown again? The thing is, it's a very small price for us to pay when you look at the ramifications of what happens when you're unwell.
True. People are unwell. Families have lost their loved ones. Every day
Yes.
you hear something or the other. Those who are here present don't know what the future holds, what the other day would look like, whether you're going to be around or not.
Hmm.
Yesterday, somebody said something. I was just talking to a friend when I said that by the time it's over, each one of us is going to be needing therapy for our broken pieces to come
Yep.
together. And mental health, even those who have, people who've had COVID, even I had
Mm.
COVID, but there is that
Oh,
fear
did
and that
you?
anxiety. Yes, I did.
Yeah.
And fortunately for me, the symptoms were not as severe as they have been
Mm.
with the rest. My family did too. But somewhere it's, that fear psychosis has happened now with
Mm.
everyone, those who have had it, those who haven't, and those who are expecting it just might happen because you're actually scared to even breathe the air in your own house, you know.
Mm.
So, I mean, I'm sure you face the same anxiety, and also mental health is something other after this is going to be mental health because everyone here is totally damaged as of now.
I'm really I wouldn't say I'm happy, because that's the wrong adjective, but I would say I'm really relieved to see mental health being discussed even on the news, even as a very non-taboo subject now, because it is a reality. I've been a promoter, a big champion for getting mental health for many years now. I think maybe for the past, especially 2 years, I've been speaking about it, because I wanted to go through the process of it and be like, it does help, and here's how it helps, and this is why it's important. And I have always felt that, people, when they're unwell, the first day you have a fever, you'll tell your, partner, your parents, and you take a tablet, or you have a hot soup. By the third day, you're going to go to the doctor, because you realize it's beyond your understanding. And I don't see why mental health should be any different. There are people who are trained and specialize in helping you discover yourself and your root issues or insecurities or even strengths. And that's the beauty of therapy. You do not, it isn't It isn't a dark attic that you enter. It is a part of yourself that you invest into yourself to understanding and healing yourself. So therapy to me has been one of the greatest gifts in my life. And I'm so glad that that stigma around discussing mental health and the reality that we all need it, especially after a time like this, those who have gone through it, those who have lost loved ones, those who have really shot their nerves with high levels of anxiety, financial disappointments and disillusionments and uncertainties. Everything has really shed light on the fact that it all starts and ends here. And that's what we need to be talking about.
Totally. But also there is that fear of being judged, you know.
Mhm.
Did you face that when you came out in the open? Because many people from your fraternity who spoke up after you did, I think you were one of the first people who just embraced that the fact
Mm.
that I took therapy, I had issues. Then there was Deepika. A lot of
Mm.
people tend to judge you. Do you also, and also a lot of people going to therapy feel judged. Like if I speak to my colleagues about it, they'll think that something is not right. I don't need a life coach because
Mm.
people think something's not okay with me. Do you think
Mm.
that thing is also now going to go away and people should not fear judgment? I mean, have you faced judgment personally?
Honestly, I reached a position in my life, love, where it was like, I have nothing to lose at this point. When you reach a certain stage, even mentally and psychologically, there's only, when you feel like you've reached the bottom of the ocean, there's only one
Mm,
way to go, which is to kick yourself back up. When you are in survival mode, when you are in healing mode, you remove adjectives and thoughts of judgment, acceptance, validation. They start to fade away because it starts becoming about you. And then it's very natural for these things to fade away. And for me, that was my journey. On the other hand, I'd like to say that, I have spoken about therapy. I've spoken about a number of things: sobriety, therapy. This is my way of communicating my journey. This is also a part of my healing. For me, authenticity has been a big currency in my life. So speaking about it was a part of my healing. Connecting to others was a part of my healing, but it may not necessarily be everybody's modus operandi, and that's fine. The thing is that eventually, if you feel comfortable discussing it with your family and friends, certainly do. But if you don't and you still want to get help because of your permutation combinations in your life, still get the help and do it for yourself.
totally. Shruti, sometimes I feel really bad because now a lot of celebrities have been talking about it. You spoke about
Mm,
addictions. Puja Bhatt spoke about it. Debbie Lovato has
mm.
spoken about it. It suddenly becomes only that headline and everything else pales into insignificance.
Especially if you're a woman.
Yes, yes.
Yes. And I think
Why
it was
so?
Pooja Bhatt recently who had put something up about how sobriety and addiction is looked at with such a different lens for men and women.
Yeah.
India also has some of the largest number of closeted female alcoholics, and that tells across economic stratas. And
Mm,
that is a great reflection of what it means, to suffer with any sort of stigma over here. I mean, we have tons of it. You're an Indian woman, you understand.
yeah.
I think it starts with, and it sounds very utopian, but it starts with the sisterhood in this situation. It starts with women supporting women and saying, "Ah, I may not be going through that journey. I may not have that set of issues. I may not have that life experience, but I must have the empathy and compassion for my sister in this tribe to understand and uplift and empower." And I must say, I was very blessed to see that. I have learned more from the women from unexpected quarters who have supported me. And for that, I'm extremely thankful, because it sounds very like Garden of Eden, but it is. We need to band together, especially in things that seem, usme ek maza aata hai na, to be like, I'm better off than this. Thank God if mine was not such a mess. There's no joy in that. There isn't, because especially something like this current situation we're in has taught us that anyone can suffer, and it is our humanity that shines through only through empathy and compassion.
Totally. And I wish the narratives would also focus on that instead of showing the woman who's taken to the bottle or has addiction as being this ambitious woman, power driven. So of course that's what she's
Even
all
in
wrapped up.
films, the way it's portrayed, we have to change that narrative as well.
Totally.
like the bad girl with the cigarette. And I'm like, gosh, you know, it's
I know.
it's a
As a
bit,
Buddha,
these cliches, yeah, the cliches have to slowly be eroded and done away with for good.
I totally second that. And also as a celebrity who speaks her truth, walks her talk. And I'm not saying that because I'm fond of you and I
Oh, thank
admire
you.
the work you've been doing, but it's a fact. A lot of your colleagues from the industry have come under as being insensitive, posting pictures and relaxing and putting those feel good pictures at times like this. When everybody and now everybody's doing their bit. What was your take on it? Because I know you didn't post any pictures, as you very sweetly in one interview said, I didn't get that package to Maldives anyways, you know. But it was just too much of Maldives, UAE being thrown when everyone else. Do you think celebrities
Well, the
should
good
play
thing
the
is
role?
the Maldives has banned us from visiting now. So I
And so
suppose,
has the UAE, so has the
yeah.
United States. Everyone has banned us now for some time.
I'm not standing in judgment. I personally don't like to be judged. I do think each to his own,
Hmm.
whatever floats your boat. But there comes a time in a situation like I post pictures on Instagram, but I think people are well aware that I'm not having a nice time. I'm in my house. I'm isolating. Sure, communicate, spread joy and happiness and positivity. That's very important. But there's a thin line about what is joyous to you and what is not to somebody else in a time that isn't joyous to them. It's just that really weird thin line of sensitivity that we have to maintain. Somebody else was asking me today about, what do you say about people who are not resharing information? That's also a thing. And I think it just boils down to this. I'm different people have different coping
Totally,
mechanisms, and
totally.
we all deserve to do what we do to make ourselves feel better. Sure, that's a basic
Hmm.
human thing. But I've always said I'm not a fan of the word famous, but what does that word entail? It entails that people pay attention to you. It doesn't matter how famous or less famous or infamous or however you want to put it. The thing is, you get attention, people hear you, people watch you. And if you are given that opportunity, and if you can use it, you must. It's as simple as that.
True.
Even in the smallest way, telling people to go get vaccinated, you know, telling people to mask up, reading, educating yourself as well, And I think the overall learning I've taken is that people have become aware of the collective frequency of EQ, how we're all vibrating at a very particular level of helplessness. So, yeah, it just comes back to being aware of what's going on and how can you be a piece that contributes positively.
And also, as somebody who has that power, has used social media, and as there was a quote of a Hollywood actor saying that I'm an actor, but I also like to use my medium to promote and advocate things that I believe in. Like you spoke about mental health, and I know there are many in the industry who suffer anxiety, have gone through their own traumas. Would
Mhm.
you want them to speak out and also address these issues more vocally than just a tweet or something?
Like I said, it is really each person's individual journey. My journey is such that I have felt comfortable. But honestly, was I comfortable 5 years ago being this transparent about my strengths and failures? No. So there's a time and a place, and I respect that. I feel that by talking about body image, mental health, PCOS, all of these things, the number of messages and the number of kind of people reaching out saying, "Thank you. I go through this, and I thought I was the only one." That is one of the greatest connections I felt as a woman. When I have another woman say, "I thought I was the only person," I was really feeling weird talking about this because people were like, "You'll get over it," and I'm not able to get over it. So what can I do? Thank you for speaking about it. That is when I realized what the power of social media is, how it
Yeah.
is a narrative that we can put out on our terms because the characters we play are not under our control. Today, you and I have a lovely interaction because we're somewhere on a similar wavelength, but I can't control your questions to me. I can't control this narrative. So, social media allows that opportunity. How a person wants to use it is up to their discretion. I think in a situation like this, it's not even about who is speaking up about their issues. I think in the current climate, it's important that everybody says something about the current pandemic and does anything, even the smallest retweet to help.
I totally agree with that. And also, like you said, conversation, there was a conversation about menopause and how women go through depression. It was one small conversation, it became a thread and turned into an article because there
Lovely.
were women from Vancouver, from UAE, India, all speaking about it. And I think it helped someone somewhere because, hey, I'm not alone. So I
Yes.
just, it's totally that sisterhood. Come together. You don't have to keep fighting against the men. I mean, just promote
Yes.
and, just empower your own tribe, as I say.
Yes, I think it's not about fighting against the men, it's fighting for your fellow women, It's a
Totally.
different battle completely.
But also there are times when women also tend to disempower you the most. This is something Pooja Bhatt and I also spoke about. There will be certain women who will be trolling women the most and more than the men. It's
Mm,
actually the women who are trolling them.
mm.
I'm sure you faced it too. I have faced it too.
I
How
think
we,
that it comes whether it's man or woman, and I think because women to women, we have what do you say, the same life, the same body, the same kind of experiences. It's almost like it's like being a double agent. You know what hurts, but the truth is, hurt people cause hurt, and that's really what it boils down to. So when I see stuff like that, it breaks a certain part of my heart, but it also makes me understand that there is a collective mood where I've noticed, not just in India or abroad, or you go to anyone's comment section and there seems to be a trend of unasked un no one asks for that really mundane opinion, because if it's not adding value, and if there's a constant trend of feeling superior by adding negativity or showing someone as inferior, then there's a collective thing that we need to address whether the aggression, the negativity has become a very from a gaping wound, it's now a chasm that is very obvious. So I
true.
think it's a very far-fetched, hopeful concept that we don't feel the need to be so mean to each other.
Totally agree. I just hope we come out of this as more compassionate and kinder people.
Yes. Yeah,
Totally,
definitely.
totally. And there's one thing I observed. So I was just like, since you've spoken so much, so I was just like kind of Googling your interviews. Everywhere I've seen these little, excerpts where you're being asked about the actors, male actors you've acted
Yeah,
opposite.
yeah.
Somewhere I am also guilty of it because, you always asking the heroine, what is it like working with so and so? How come we don't end up asking the guy, what was it like working with so and so, with the girl? Why do we do this?
Maybe we're
Sometimes get
avoiding some harsh
frustrated.
truths about how we behave coming out. Who knows? I don't know. I've always found this really funny, but you must remember, I've grown up in the home of a huge superstar, a male superstar. So from childhood, I've been asked stuff like random. I remember I was playing, I think, hide and seek with my friends in lunch break. And I went up to the school fence to find a new place to hide. And someone said, "Oh, what does your father eat for breakfast?" So, it's like I'm quite clearly, it is the curiosity that surrounds male superstars in a male dominated industry, to put it very, very simply.
True.
I don't take offense to it because it just feels trivial and fun for somebody. And I'm happy to answer honestly. And I guess it's become like a game for me now when I haven't particularly liked a co-star as to how to be diplomatic. Because I will get asked. So I come up
Well,
with, I don't lie. So I think people who know me well know which one I've actually really liked.
totally. Girl, you rock. But Shruti, last year you were very, very busy. Jharu Pocha music was being created, movies were being shot. I mean, everyone feels, yeah, we are also worried about, jobs. Hoga kya nahi, next
Yes.
paycheck kahan se aa raha hai. I'm sure actors also go through that, will that project take off? But, so do you also have these concerns or you one person takes, I'll come to that bridge when I have to cross it? Are you one of those?
Oh gosh, no, I'm an independent woman who has lots of EMIs and bills to pay. I haven't called my daddy in the past, I think 11 years for anything since I moved out of his home. And I'm proud of it, but it's also like, you know, and I think yes, I think I definitely acknowledge and I'm very grateful for the fact that I could last 2 months saying,
Yeah.
okay, I can pull through this. But no, last year was difficult for me as well, to be very honest. There's two kinds of situations in the world. Either someone, the rich man or woman you see is actually much richer than you think, or the rich man and woman you see are not as rich as you think. So I think I fall in the latter category. So I had to work just like everybody else. I have a system that runs on the paychecks I provide, the payroll I put people on. I did not want to get them off of that, but I wasn't getting paid. I had financial commitments to fulfill. And yeah, toward the end of the year, just like everybody else, I was, pooping my pants, to put it subtly. And I was like, I need to get back to work. And again, we find ourselves in the situation where we have to plan and adapt. And I think I think this has taught me to be more smart and more innovative. And in a strange way, it's really, really taught me about the reality of, being very, very thankful that I can pull through a month, 2 months, 3 months
True.
where people don't have money for medicines. So it really puts everything in perspective.
Absolutely. And also, you, as you had said once, I'm also a musician. Musicians don't get paid much.
Yeah, no.
And anyways, last but not the least, Vakeel Saab now on
Yes.
Amazon Prime. Happy about it? I mean, I know you were expecting the theaters, but in this situation, it's better if
Yeah.
it's on a streaming platform.
So Vakeel Saab did come out in the theaters. It had a gigantic opening and did
Yes,
really
it's
well. I'm really thankful. Even Crack as well. The audiences went out. They supported cinema and our business. But now I'm also glad that people can watch it in the safety of their homes. I mean, it sounds like really boring and preachy, but I just urge people to stay inside. It's a very small price to pay. Look at the
totally.
things outside. It's just not worth it. And it's what? Masking, sanitizing, and staying in. We can do it. We can totally do it, and we
Absolutely.
must.
Absolutely. And last question, how do you look so lovely? Please tell us your secret.
Oh
The
gosh, I don't.
skincare, need to know. I know they are the happy hormones, jharu katka, but what is it?
No, I think it's good genes from our parents, fortunately. A good skin doctor. Sleeping good. Enjoy your sleep and enjoy your waking life, and I feel sure.
Thank you so much. And thank you. Keep spreading the positivity and the good vibes, which actually should be called Good Vibes with Shruti Haasan. Thank you so much.
Oh my God, thank you. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Take care.
Please stay safe.
You too,
Bye.
my dear. Bye. See you.
Bye.
Bye bye.